Okay. So I just have to share hopefully something funny with you. We had an all faculty meeting with about like 200 faculty all on WebEx. And I have to say, you guys are handling this way better than they did. So a lot of people didn't have their microphones muted and they went to the bathroom, like flushing the toilet and cussing. So it was definitely entertaining, but a lot of faculty are really struggling with this transition. So if you are in a class where your professor is struggling, just try to be patient with them. Not saying that I'm not struggling, but other people are struggling. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. Okay, so will someone unmute and just confirm that you can see our class schedule?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So this is sort of the remainder of the semester. And if you've been keeping in touch with my announcements, you probably have a fairly decent sense of what's happening. This is just to kind of make sure you're all on the same page. So I know the other thing is it's been really overwhelming, I'm sure, with all of the emails that you're getting. If other faculty members are also kind of on top of it, you probably just have your inbox full, but hopefully we can get all of your questions sorted today. So the biggest thing is obviously we've transitioned online and there's not a whole lot that's actually changing about kind of the layout of the course. So Nearpods are still going to be the same format as they were. They're going to be twice a week. We will still have our Henrietta Lacks assignments due every Wednesday. And then the most obvious transition is going to be in our labs. Those are going to be moved to kind of virtual labs or watching videos or that sort of thing. Most of them aren't really super time intensive, so hopefully you won't be too overwhelmed with the labs, but if you have any difficulties, reach out to me. The schedule is recommended, so I highly recommend following this schedule so you don't get far behind, but if you don't want to start working on content right away, that's an option, and you can work on any of the assignments past the due date and you won't be docked any late penalty. So it's really like an online course at your own pace. That being said, I will start putting zeros in the grade book after the assignment deadline. That is only to make sure that it's on your radar that you haven't done it. You can still go back into the assignment and complete the assignment, and I'll reverse that zero. I'm only putting in the zeros so it's on your radar that you haven't done it yet. The way I recommend navigating through this course is now through modules. So instead of using the to-do list, I highly encourage that you navigate through modules. The reason is I have everything laid out in the sequence that it makes the most sense to complete. So for example, here the translation stuff, you'll want to do the Nearpod before you attempt to do the lab. And that sort of trend goes for the rest of the semester of as far as completing assignments, you want to go through modules. So one important thing I wanted to highlight was the capstone assignment. So this is a 30-point assignment. So a capstone assignment is kind of like a big project. What this is a short research paper on any topic of your choosing. So you are going to find this in week 15. If I click on topic research, that'll take me to a list of all the potential topics you can study. So the point of this is for you to choose any topic in biology that you have actual interest in. Because I know a lot of what we've talked about in this class for many of you is kind of like a snooze fest and really boring. So the point of this is to choose something that you're actually like, oh, that'd be really cool to do research on. So once you've chosen your topic, you need to click on the Google Sheets sign up, and it's going to take you to the same list of topics. So you can see that some of you have already done this. There can only be one person per topic. So it's first come, first serve. So I would recommend signing up for your topic sooner rather than later. And then once you've selected your topic, if you go to the actual assignment, it gives you an explanation of what it is that I'm expecting you to do. So research paper can sound really intimidating, but it's really only 1 to 2 pages. So hopefully you aren't too overwhelmed. But basically, I want you to answer these 4 prompts in detail. And then you need to use 2 scholarly resources. So if you haven't had like an English 101 class at the college level, scholarly, it means something that's peer reviewed. My recommendation is to use Google Scholar because the articles in there will be scholarly. And then as far as APA formatting, I'm not going to be a huge stickler about it. It's just about practicing APA formatting because that's what's expected at the college level. But I won't be dinging you really seriously if you're not following that. And then finally, the biggest thing is your final exam. So right now I have the final exam to not be available until May 1st. The reason is I want you to complete all of the content before you attempt the final. But if you are just cranking away through your assignments and you get everything done in a couple of weeks, let me know and I'd be happy to open up the final exam for you. The final exam is 4 short answer questions that are completely open note. So my recommendation is that you use your guided notes. That way you know exactly what it is that I'm expecting in your answers, but you are also welcome to use the internet as a resource. So what that means is I'm going to take plagiarism very seriously. So you can absolutely use the internet as a guide, but you should not be copying and pasting from anywhere, including my voiceovers or Nearpods. You need to put it in your own words. So anything that is above a 25% or higher on Turnitin, I will review. And if it's clear that you plagiarize, you'll get an automatic 0 on the final. So I really don't want to do that. So just make sure that you put it in your own words. And you can submit it to Turnitin multiple times just to make sure you get your score below 25%. Which does remind me, on your topic paper, you can only submit that once. You can submit it after the deadline, but once you submit it, you're sort of locked into your submissions, and I'll grade it as soon as I can. But if you want me to look it over before you like formally submit it, I'd be happy to quickly glance at it. But once you hit the submit button, there's no backtracking on that. For other assignments like Nearpods and especially labs, I'll be putting in the comment section of your assignments feedback, and then you can revise and resubmit. The reason I'm doing that is you're not getting that same peer interaction while working on labs that you can bounce ideas off of each other. So in lieu of that, if you've made a mistake on your labs, I'll give you that feedback and it's up to you. You can either keep it as is or you can revise and resubmit. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything. Let me stop sharing and then I will open it up to any questions that you have. So remember, you would need to unmute yourself. You can also use the chat function to ask questions.
So for the guided notes, are you gonna have that available to us, or should we just
Yeah,
write
thank
notes
you.
down?
No, I do have those available, and let me show you where you can find those. So I'm
Awesome.
going to go back to, there we go. Okay, so let's do one of the first Nearpods, the translation Nearpod. So what I have, right when you click on each Nearpod assignment at the top are the guided notes. So we already did transcription before spring break, but I have the notes here just in case because we didn't quite finish that. But in every Nearpod, when you open it up, it's going to be at the top in a clickable link. You can download that and it's going to open up our guided notes. And then
Awesome. Thank you.
same as before, you don't have to like turn these in. These are just for you. But the cool thing about being online is the quizzes are all open note now too. And so you can have your guided notes right in front of you. So I would recommend that, right? Because it'll be
Yeah.
much better. Okay, so someone asked in the chat, do we need to print our labs and notes? So I think I answered the question about notes. You can totally type in your notes. Studies do
Hang on.
show.
I can't quite hear you. Are you
Oh,
muted?
oh, sure was. Thank you. Okay, so someone asked, do we need to print out our labs and notes? So I think I answered the question about guided notes. You don't have to print those out, but studies do show that most students learn better when they physically write rather than typing, but there's exceptions to that. So I do recommend it, but not required. And then as far as labs, you definitely don't have to print those out either. You can type directly in the labs and upload them. A couple of the labs are PDF format, but they are fillable, so you can type right in the labs as well. Any other questions?
No, I think we're pretty good. Or at least I am.
Awesome. Oh, so we only have 2 of these meetings scheduled, correct. So there is another meeting on Wednesday, but it's gonna be a repeat of what we're doing today. It's just for students who couldn't jump in today. So you're welcome to get another session if you'd like, but you definitely don't have to jump into that meeting. Any other questions? Okay, so if you feel pretty good about the remainder of the semester, you're welcome to disconnect. I will stay on for another 10 minutes if you just want to chat. And somebody just asked about life passes. Yes, you will still have the same life passes that will apply. And do we need lockdown browser? No, you won't need lockdown browser for quizzes or the final exam. But yes, if you feel like you have your questions answered, you are welcome to sign off. You don't have to come into our Wednesday meeting. This will be our last like all class meeting. From here on out, you'll be working at your own pace. If you have any questions, we can set up one-on-ones. But yeah, otherwise I'm gonna hang out for 10 minutes if people just wanna chat for a little bit.